Sunday Ade, popularly known as King Sunny Ade, was born in Osogbo, southwestern Nigeria in September 1946. He is a Nigerian Juju singer, songwriter, and instrumentalist. He is regarded as one of the first African pop singers to gain international success, and has been called one of the most influential singers of all time. Sunny Ade was born to a royal family from Ondo State in Nigeria, thus making him a prince of the Yoruba people. His father was a church organist, while his mother, Maria Adegaye Adeshida, was a trader. As a member of the Adeshida dynasty, his mother's relatives included her father, Oba Adeshida I, who ruled Akure for 60 years, and would later on include her nephew and Ade's cousin, Oba Adeboye Adeshida Afunbiowo II, a future king of Akure. Ade left grammar school in Ondo City under the pretense of going to the University of Lagos. It was in Lagos that his wonderful musical career began. Sunny Ade's career began with Moses Olaya's high-life band called the Federal Rhythm Dandies. He later left the band to form a new one, the Green Spots, in 1967. Over the years, for various reasons ranging from changes in its music to business concerns, Sunny Ade's band changed its name several times, first to African Beats and then to Golden Mercury. King Sunny Ade was influenced by Juju pioneer Tunde Nightingale and borrowed stylistic elements from his soul and bass style of Juju. King Sunny Ade enjoyed noble status, not only through birth into the Yoruba royalty of southern western Nigeria, but also through popular acclaim as the king of Juju since the late 1970s. In 1967, he assembled his own Juju band, the Green Spots, which he later renamed the African Beats, reflecting the Africanization of the genre that had been occurring since the early 1950s in conjunction with a growing sense of nationalism. Prior to Ade's formation of the African Beats, one of his most notable predecessors, Ike Dairo, had already modified Juju through incorporation of Yoruba talking drums, which replicates the tones of Yoruba language, and through extensive use of the call and response vocal structure that is typical of the traditional music of many sub-Saharan African people, including the Yoruba. Upon this musical foundation, Ade laid a tapestry of guitar voices infused with rhythmic and melodic colors of rock and roll. Ade's early albums with the African beat, most notably Sound Vibration in 1977 and The Royal Sound in 1979, were tremendously successful, And when the press declared Ade the king of Juju in 1977, the title became integral to his professional persona. In the 1970s and 1980s, Ade embarked on a tour of America and Europe. His stage act was characterized by dexterous dancing steps and mastery of the guitar. After more than a decade of resounding success in his native Nigeria, Ade was received to great acclaim in Europe and North America in 1982. The global release of Juju music and its accompanying tour was almost unanimously embraced by critics everywhere. Ade was described in the New York Times as one of the world's greatest band leaders. His next album, Synchro System, in 1983, was equally successful. It earned him his first Grammy Award nomination in the ethnic traditional folk recording category, hence making him the first Nigerian Grammy Award nominee ever.
Africa, Africa, oh, oh, Africa and America. Africa, Africa, oh, oh, Africa and America.
Sunny Ade's music is characterized by, among other instruments, the talking drum, an instrument indigenous to his Yoruba roots, the guitar, and its peculiar application to Juju music. His music is in the age-old tradition of singing poetic lyrics, ewi in Yoruba, and praise-singing of dignitaries as well as components of Juju, traditional African belief called the Ogede, that is, casting of spells. Hence, Ade's music constitutes a record of the oral tradition of his people for posterity. Sunny Ade introduced the pedal steel guitar to Nigerian pop music. He introduced the use of synthesizers, clavinets, vibraphones, tenor guitar into the Juju music repertoire, such as dub and wah-wah guitar licks. Ade said he used this instrument not as an attempt to innovate, but as a substitute for traditional Juju instruments, which were too difficult to find and impractical for touring. The pedal steel guitar, for instance, was added to his repertoire as a sound alike for an African violin. After the death of Bob Marley, Island Records began looking for another third world artist to put on its contract, while Fela Kuti had just been signed by Arista Records. Producer Martin Messionier introduced King Sunny Ade to Chris Blackwell, leading to the release of Juju music in 1982. Ade gained a wide following with this album and was soon called the African Bob Marley. Sunny Ade has said that his refusal to allow Island to meddle with his compositions and over-Europeanize and Americanize his music were the reasons why Island then decided to look elsewhere. Sunny Ade's brief recordings with Island Records opened the floodgates for other world music artists like Senegalese Youssou N'Dour, Mali's Salif Keita, and many others. In 1987, Sunny Ade returned to the international spotlight when Ryko Disc released a recording of a live concert he did in Seattle.
Well, good evening, Seattle. Glad to see you all here. Glad you enjoyed the total experience. We had a good time. But right now, let's welcome King Sunny Ade and his African Beats.
He soon employed an American manager, Andrew Frankel, who negotiated another 3-album record deal with a Mesa record label in America. One of these albums was 1988's Odu, a collection of traditional Yoruba songs, for which he was nominated for the 2nd Grammy Award, and thus making him the first African to be nominated twice for a Grammy. Apart from being an international musician, Sunny Ade is also prominent in his native Nigeria, running multiple companies in several industries, creating a non-organization called the King Sunny Ade Foundation, and working with the Musical Copyright Society of Nigeria. In recent times, hip-hop music appears to be holding sway with the electronic media in Nigeria with massive airplays. Nonetheless, Sunny Ade's musical output has continued to inspire a vast generation of other Nigerian musicians who believe in the big band musical setup which Sunny Ade and late Fela Kuti are noted for. The musician, Lagbaja, is one of the many musicians whom Sunny Ade's music has inspired. In 2008, his contributions to world music was recognized, and he was given an award of his outstanding contribution to world music at the International Reggae and World Music Awards held at the Apollo Theater in Harlem, New York. In the 1980s, Ade embarked on a career in Hollywood. His music was featured in the 1983 film Breathless, starring Richard Gere, and the 1986 comedy One More Saturday Night, and he acted in Robert Altman's 1987 comedy O.C. and Sticks. Please subscribe to this channel and remember to turn on the notification bell, like the video and share.
I want you to give me your clap this way. Ibi tó dúró, ẹ̀sùn máa bí ijó ti yá. Ẹni tó jókòó, ẹ dìde, ẹ múra síjó. Ìlú ń dún kanran lórí ń lọ, mẹ́lọ́mẹ́lọ́. Tó bá ti pẹ́rẹ́ mi ni wọ́n ní, máa múra síjó. Má gbàgbé rí ìdùnnú lọ́kàn mi tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́. Májó, 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 má tún mẹ́mú, má fi pàrọ̀nù rẹ̀. Májó, 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 má tún mẹ́mú. Má fi pàrọ̀nù rẹ̀.